We are here. It's wonderful Saturday morning. The weather is very beautiful. I don't know what it's like on your side.
It's a nice sunny day on my side. Very nice, very bright. We had a lot of fog this morning, but
Okay.
nice fall weather. Is not cold. It's cool. So I went doing my exercises this morning and got
Now
my
you're making
set.
now you're making me jealous. I can't even lift 15 pounds. So,
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Healing is a process. Healing is a
it
process.
is.
So,
It is. I'm
so
learning patience.
this whole process, this whole how can I call it? Process, and I don't want to use the word situation that you're going through is only one of those things that had to come into your life at this time to probably slow you down for what is an acceleration that is in front of you. So this is
I
a
love
time for
that.
you to this is a time for you to meditate, recalibrate, be revived, be restored. And then you remember the old that old TV movie that used to come on TV, the $6 Million Man.
The
Yeah,
Bionic Man?
yeah, the $6 Million Man, Lee Major. We can rebuild him.
We got,
We can
I think I'll go to my nephew who's getting his PhD in robotics for him to robotics and mechanical engineering next year, December, for him
There
to put
you
me
go.
back together, mechanically and
There you go.
robotics
Better, faster.
with artificial intelligence
There
embedded
you
in
go. Plug
it.
into the matrix, my man.
Yeah, man. But it's
So
wonderful to be here.
everyone needs to get ready for the new, improved, revived, restore, faster, better. Ava Togba. So that's going to be Ava 2.0.
I hope. I see a lot of 2.0 out there. I hope. But yeah, to our listeners, share the show. Welcome. We really appreciate you taking this time out on Saturday morning to join us. We know everybody's busy and people do find their niche as to what they want to get entertained with or get informed by. And we just appreciate that, some of you have chosen this platform on Business Talk to reach out to us. First, again, I want to give a shout out to my wife. This being like a birthday week for her. October 6th was her birthday. And last night I was out partying at what do you call this stuff? A comedy club. We had a little
All right,
event.
there you go.
Yeah. So it was really fun.
It's always good to get your laughs in. It's always good to get your
Oh my
laughs in.
God, yeah. And one of the guys, he was just focusing on old school, right?
Yeah.
And just bringing back some memories. And then this
Memories.
funny thing is, some of them were American old school. So I wasn't here during that time frame, but I could relate because I had read some of that stuff, in books and stuff like that. And that's one thing that's probably missing in our education system: books that our kids can read about what's going on in a lot of different cultures and other continents and even across Africa, but luckily for us, we got the internet, so they have the opportunity to get there, even though it's now prohibitive. But we'll talk about the internet later, right? We've got telecommunications online as one of the topics for today. So
one of the topics, one of the topics for today, one of the sectors for
so folks.
Yeah, let me give a shout out to my lovely, beautiful wife. She's on the way to the salon. She's a fashion designer, Philetta Phillips, and wish her all the best. Have a great day, sweetie. And she just got another award.
Nice.
I only get one award per year for my sales numbers, but she gets multiple awards depending on how many shows she participates in. So she's way ahead of me in awards. So have a great day. Have an outstanding day. Be careful out there and go give them hell.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta wish them the best. For today, we got like 4 mini topics. We actually took on 10 topics in terms of specific sectors and the Liberianization opportunities in there, and what needs to happen for that to be a reality, for us to be a part of our economy and a part of these activities. So today we got construction, real estate, we got retail and trade, we got telecommunications and technology, and we got banking and financial services. That's a lot. We hope we can get through it. But it's important that our people know what's going on in some of these sectors, how they can become a participant, and what it takes. We talk all the time, business, business, business. But the idea of business sometimes is for you to preserve your time as an individual, because one person can't do everything. So you got to preserve your time and leverage other people's time, whether it's employees or it's contacts or it's your network. Leverage those other people's time into your business that you can then have available time, maybe for strategy, maybe for other things, and to build that level of sustainability where it doesn't have to be you physically working in a business for it to happen, So that is a thought I wanted to share with people. And sometimes people just think as a business owner, you have to do everything. No, you don't have to do everything. You got to build. I know sometimes there are trust issues, there's competence issues, and other things like that. But you just have to work hard at building that you can utilize other people's time and their effort to build your business.
On that point you just mentioned, my wife always there's a comment she always makes. She says everyone is a resource. Everyone, every relationship, everyone is a resource. And it's important for you to recognize that everyone is indeed a resource. And if you truly understand that everyone is a resource, then that means every resource, just like when you get an apple, you got two choices. Either you wash it and you bite into it, or you take a knife as the resource to cut the apple and slice it. You go to the garden, you got a choice. Either use your hands and your fingers to dig the hole, or you get the tool that you use as a resource to dig the hole. So everyone is a resource. So as long as you recognize that, then you will be able to leverage, like Ava said, you leverage your resources, your relationships, to apply them to advance, to build, to grow, and expand on your business. So that's a very good topic there. And that's the whole thing about this show. Business Talk is all about teaching, educating, informing, enlightening. We Liberians in the diaspora and back home, how do we leverage our relationship with each other to play an active role in these different sectors of our economy, so that we can be the custodian of that segment of our economy, so that we can build a better Liberia, so that we are the masters of our own destiny. That's the whole thing. That's a good point, Ava. Good point. So you want to get into it? You want to get into it?
Oh yeah, let's jump in. Our first topic is construction in the real estate sector, and I will let you, take the first dive if you want to, and then I can come in.
Well, on that point, construction and real estate. Wow. Construction, building construction, and real estate. So this is a major segment of the Liberian economy today. Why is it a major segment of the Liberian economy today? Because the first thing that hits you when you travel back to Liberia, even if you've been out for the past year, 2 years, 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years, one thing that hits you from the time you land and leave the terminal and get outside is that you notice that there's a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of building going on. And that building is, that building construction is not limited to the area that you see. Just try to multiply it in your mind across all the political subdivisions of this country. Josephine Mason, thank you. Welcome to the show. Please share the program on your page as well. Let's get as many listeners as we can on the show today. So one thing you will notice is that this building construction is taking place all across this country, all across Liberia, and it is being fueled. This is the key point, Ava. This building construction and real estate development, building, whatever way you want to term it, is being fueled. Okay, let's use that word again that we had in a couple of shows ago, by the diaspora remittance money. A major part of that building construction boom that's taking place all across Liberia, from Cape Mount to Maryland, from the coastal counties all the way up to the northern counties in Grangie, there, up there in Nimba and in Lofa. All of that building construction, real estate development, be it small, medium, large, is all being fueled. A major part of it is being fueled by diaspora money through remittances. Western Union, MoneyGram, Sendwave, Nobel, whatever way is being fueled, factored in with salaries and, salaries and government, budgets and stuff like that. But the diaspora money is a major part, is the major fuel. Now, when you recognize that, the next thing is you come to realize, you ask yourself the question, who's providing all the building material? Who are the importers of the building material? Because that's where the real money is being made. And it's creating a lot of different jobs. It's creating, all the different building trades, all the building trades that I taught at MDTC, Don Bosco, BWI, all of those building trades, from painting to carpentry to welding to masonry, civil construction, you need plumbing, electrical, all of those building trades feed into this construction and real estate development that's taking place across the country. But the question for all of us today, who are the importers? Who are the importers of all of the building materials that is fueling this building boom in and across Liberia? And this is where, the rubber meets the road, what Ava and I were talking about today. Good morning, Wilford. Carlon, how are you? Thank you for joining the show. Please share the live. Yeah, so who's fueling this? I mean, who's doing the importing? The roofing material, the 2x2, the 2x4. I mean, the sheetrock, not sheetrock, but the ceiling tile. I mean, the cement, the tools, the wheelbarrows, the hammers, the nails, all of these things. Who's importing it? Because if Liberians are not on the importation side, and we're not in the distribution and the reselling side, then that means, once again, those who have amassed the capital to control the importation of it, they're the ones who are the benefactors, or those are the ones who are benefiting. Those are the ones who are benefiting from all of this money, the diaspora money that is being sent in, brought in to fuel, to fund, to capitalize the building construction segment of the economy. Go ahead, Ava.
Yeah, so there's several factors here for me, right? What's at the bottom of any kind of construction? The foundation of anything is the land, isn't it?
That's exactly right. You're back to land again. You're back to land again. You're back to land again.
So land is a major part of what we do.
Yep.
So this sector, the real estate and the construction sectors, the Liberian Land Authority is a major important player in ensuring that there is continuity and progression in this sector. And, we've been engaging them. But I was just shocked, like today, somebody sent me a comment from somebody. And this guy, I don't know him personally. His name is John Williams. But you know how you can admire people from a distance based on what they write and stuff like that? And he's somebody who just doesn't write loosely. So I do take his comments seriously. I've never met him before. But he says, somebody had a post and they were asking, let me see what the title of the post was. Oh, they were talking about, so they said, so these judges, everything that stay order again, even on people's property, okay? So the guy made a comment. He said, I do know who owns the property in question, but I think there's a conspiracy against diaspora Liberians wanting to invest anything in Liberia. Because what I'm experiencing from the Liberian Land Authority has convinced me that there is a concerted effort involving both private individuals and public sector people to frustrate diaspora Liberian investment in Liberia. And to read this, I sent him a note asking him to please give me more because it's very disappointing. I'm one of the persons who have really pushed to have an integration of ground and diaspora, in at so many different levels, whether it's just networking, whether it's trying to start a business, whether it's just having a scene line of thought, whether it's trying to build a critical mass around a certain policy or in general political perspective. I've been trying to do that for more than 30 years. So when I see somebody who feel like there's an effort, a concerted effort to kind of, discriminate against Liberians in the diaspora is very painful. And I hope I will have the chance to talk to him for him to elaborate. But the land issue is very critical. The property issue is very critical. And definitely the construction and, opening up our real estate sectors for Liberians is very essential as well. And you touched the nail on the head. All these inputs into the construction, where are Liberians? I think today maybe Liberians may have a monopoly on nails. I'm not 100% sure, but there's nail manufacturing on the ground. Now, there are other areas. All the wood has been used. It could be all right domestic wood, right? Whether it's for the doors, whether it's for anything. But one of the things our people face is being able to finish, in terms of the quality and how the object fits, whether it's a door in terms of how you align it, whether it's a window or just the interior decoration part of it, if you're using anything. So we need to build expertise there. We need Liberians to participate in this sector. This is so critical because right now, not to be again overly Liberian, but there's a high possibility, especially for the people in the diaspora who are trying to build, because a lot of people feel in construction, and I do construction for people where, diaspora people who sometimes may not have confidence that a family member or a friend can build a house. I'll do the project management for them and ensure that the house gets built, right? So I take that responsibility, but with that responsibility, it comes with understanding who you're hiring, which construction group you're engaging to execute the project. And a lot of people don't believe that they should send the money to the different people, the contractors or subcontractors, to buy the different properties. I mean, the different, whether it's cement, whether it's sand, whether it's crushed rock, whether it's wood, whether it's the iron bar, whatever is the zinc, whatever. They don't trust people. So they want to start giving the money directly to the, and for most instances, it's the Lebanese person or the Indian person who has that building material store. So that money is not even kind of coming into our economy if you look at it that way, right? Because if those people get foreign exchange like that, they're not dumping it back into the Liberian economy.
That's exactly, yeah.
They're taking it straight out to wherever they're probably ordering resources from or wherever they're banking to. So there is a challenge there, and that's why we need so many more Liberians in there. We need government facilitation, because government itself will be doing a lot of construction very soon, whether it's the roads, whether it's housing, or whether it's anything. So all these things are tied in. The land, the construction, the real estate market, the construction materials, the policy that ties into it. So we really need some kind of, participation from government, whether it is from their own public procurement, whether it is from you mentioned the MVTC and the other vocational training schools that can just direct these young people straight into masonry, carpentry, and plumbing, ownership of their own business, or either as an apprentice. So I don't know if we have a clear apprentice system that people can move all the way to master level, but there needs to be something that's built, some system that's built that helps, all these different individuals move up. Whether it's land policy reforms, how is it that the land authority can re-image, that people can have confidence in them? Whether it's tax breaks for people who are first-time builders or young people who want to own their own home. So all of these are areas where we just hope that government can wake up and be able to get more people involved in,
Yeah, you bring up a very interesting point. I think one of the challenges, I think we Liberians, not we Liberians or our leadership over successive years, right? One of the challenges we face is that we don't look at our economy from the standpoint of different industries, okay, or different segments. In business development, we call it different verticals, right? So if you're looking at a table, for example, you're looking at a table, you're looking at a chair. When you look underneath the chair, you see different verticals there. We call them the legs of the table, right? That's holding up the table itself. So if the top part of the table is the economy, right? Then you need to have different verticals that hold up that table. And then the foundation of that is the ground that the table is setting on. So, building, construction, and real estate is a major vertical in the economy that needs to be properly recognized and properly scrutinized to understand that you use the word. There's so many different inputs into that vertical. You've got the education system that feeds that vertical, right? Because you've got the building trades from all the vocational training school. That segment feeds that vertical. Then you have the other part that feeds the vertical, which is the energy, the electricity sector, because it adds value to whatever is being built, whether it's the hotel or the housing estate, the manufacturing plant. It feeds that vertical as well. Then you've got, the next topic will be bringing on this telecommunication, all the IT people and everything that feed that vertical, because when that home or that hotel is built, people need the services for connectivity and everything else. Then you've got the other portion that feeds that vertical, which is the building material side of it. Okay. So, again, when you don't understand things in its totality, then you run the risk of addressing it in a fragmented way. And when you address things in a fragmented way, that's when you don't get the right results. Because if you carefully scrutinize and break down, what we talked about a couple of shows ago, which is the how you call it, the remittances. And then we talked about the remittances, and we talked about how many touches, right? How many touches does the Liberian community have on that money when it comes in? Here it is, right here, building construction. When if you and I get in a car or get in a keke and say, let's do a rudimentary survey across the city. We take off from EWA Junction, we'll find every building material store, and we go there, we'll find out who's the owner, where do you get your supplies from. You'll come to realize that there are a few very big ones, the city builders, the jetties and whatnot, the GCOs and, Marconi, whatever the case is. Some of them are civil construction, some of them are a combination of both building material and electrical. But who owns that market? I mean, for one, that's the market I work in the energy sector here, electrical distribution business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business in the U.S. So when you look at Liberia, you look at the government budget, one. You look at the remittance, two. And then you look at the private sector budget, the Firestones, the LACs, the Mitas. Can you imagine how much money Mitas Steel spends on electrical? Can you imagine that? I mean, just try to wrap your mind around that. Who's getting all of that money? Who's getting all of that money? Is Liberians, are Liberians playing a major role? People think that the money is in the iron ore. No, it's the services. It's the services that surround the iron ore mines. Mittal has a lot of conveyors because you got to get the ore onto the ship. That whole thing is a conveyor system. You have motors, you have belts, you have pulleys, you have starters, breakers, and everything on there. Who's doing that? Who's supplying Mittal that? Then you look at the building construction sector. Again, if we don't see these, there's one segment. Then again, Okay, let me take it one. Let's peel one more layer. How many jobs are connected to this sector, Abba? How many jobs in the building trades are connected to this sector? How many jobs are connected to the building trades? That, I mean, forget about the corporation, forget about the companies and the big ones. Just, you know, the average diaspora Liberians, the diaspora Liberians all across this country sending money home, and they're doing building stuff from Cape Mount to Bomi to Montserrado to Magibi, you name it. How many jobs are being created tied to this segment? So that's why it's important for we Liberians in the diaspora. We've got to come together. This, talking about all of the politics is one thing, but at the end of the day, the economy, the economics drives the politics. Because if we truly want transformation, the transformation in the politics cannot change until the economics change. And until people's lives are better off, they will not be able to make better decisions over who governs them. So we got to get this thing right. We got to understand that our economy is built in segments or in verticals. And that's what we're talking about on this show for the past 3 weeks. The different segments of the economy. Write them down. Figure out your plan. What kind of work are you involved with in the U.S., your career path in the U.S., where you've been working in? What do you want to invest in? Understand the segment or the sector, the vertical, and then get more knowledge from the shows that we're talking about. We're discussing them, and see how to plug yourself into it. Over to you, Abba.
Right. Or if people already have that knowledge, they can willingly come to us and share with the listening audience, because people want to know. People are hungry for information. And the more we can feed that hunger and give them the right kind of information, it enables them to go in the right direction in terms of what they want to do business-wise. So all of those things are very, very important things for us to be able to engage our people and share with them, So we have this land issue that, I hate to bring up, but I have to bring up. Land ownership is critical. Many, 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 many people are starting to realize the value of land and are trying to understand where the properties are, because we know, there are a lot of people who left the ground and have been abroad, and they've been trying to probably get back the properties. So some efficiency in the land authority in adjudicating these land cases. And I forgot to even today, I'm doing a survey in Broadville on my 8 acres that's over there. My mom and dad got 8 acres over there. So doing a survey today, there has been encroachment in the back. Probably like nearly 3 to 4 acres have been encroached upon. So the survey is being done today. Hopefully we'll know the results soon, know who are encroaching, know the exact GPS coordinates and stuff like that. And thank God, I'm in the business already of drone survey. So we're able to do a survey, and see. If you go on Google Earth, you see something different. You go to our survey, you see something more recent of all the houses that are encroached upon the property. So a lot of people would need to do that. A lot of people would need to start building their homes. A significant number of people want to retire in Liberia. So they want to build in Liberia. They don't see retire. For me, especially, I know me and many of my friends, they don't see retiring in a home in this country at advanced ages would be beneficial for them. And many of those people come and bring in other talents. They bring other skills, like you were just saying, what their core profession have been. They'll be able to build. So being able to have a construction and real estate sector that serves the people would be, very beneficial. A couple of people are looking to retirement homes. Can we build those homes and save people the headache, and they can just come and occupy, whether on a lease basis or whether on a purchase basis? So all of those are just opportunities that hopefully Liberians who have capital or who have the ideas can come to and bring to the table those ideas and try to implement them, because it's very important for us to move this sector. That's how in this country, like right now, my son is trying to buy of property. He's only 25, right? He's trying to be a first-time buyer, and they're being so smart. He's going for a house that's foreclosed, so he may get it for lesser value, do some repairs on it, and they immediately escalate to the average cost of houses in that particular community. Why can we have the same kind of market in Liberia if we really start to, do our zoning and ensure that certain neighborhoods are kept the way they're supposed to be kept? We keep our alleys clean. We don't let people build in the alleys. When it comes to decision around housing, there is a what do you call it? There's a land or property court that probably can be housed at LLA because they do have some powers, but I don't know if they have full judicial power to be able to make those decisions and to enforce the decision. Enforcement is key. Whether we like it or not, people who have the rights, once it's established by law, they should be able to enjoy those rights. And sometimes it takes enforcement. So, all those things are necessary. And we probably need to move on to the next topic. So I will let you kind of close up on this one. And
again, I mean, like I said, I mean, I think, I'll use your word. We need to leverage our talents, our careers, our monies, our capital, our relationships, so that, at the end of the day, you brought it up on this issue of this person's land, where I think you said that there's a conspiracy against diaspora Liberians on this land issue, right? People who are leaving from here who had land back there and they're trying to get it now. Why do you think the conspiracy is all up? Why do you think or believe that there's a conspiracy? Because land ownership, right? The real wealth is where? It's in the land.
Yes.
The real wealth is in the land, because, you and I may get in the car, we go driving around and we see 25 or 30 acres. The person who has the land, he said, man, look, I want to sell this plot. I want to sell this land here. It was my old rice farm and stuff like that, or whatever the case is. And you'll give me, $100,000, beat him down, give him 50,000, whatever the case is. We take the land. He only saw, right? Because again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So he who was beholding that land, the limited, capacity of his mind only saw an old farm on that land. But you and I who are buying that land, we're seeing housing estates. We're seeing an industrial park. We're seeing, business centers, a conference center. That's what we're seeing. So the limitation the challenge that we Liberians are dealing with today is because we're not seeing the real value and the real wealth that we have, which is our land. Now, what am I getting to? Those who are able to see and understand that the real wealth of Liberia is the land, they're the ones who are driving and creating the conspiracy against those who own that land and getting to the powers that be and saying what? Block this, stop this, oppose this, because that land is strategically positioned in a place where I want to do X, Y, and Z. So now all of a sudden, we've got a Judas in our midst, and that Judas looks just like us. Is one of our own selling one of their own, because it's either one of our own doing it, or some expat person who sees the real value in that land, the wealth in that land, who is using whatever means he has available through money to get it. So this is the reality. We need to understand that the real wealth of Liberia is the land. Whether you're doing farming, at the end of the day, it's the land. If you want to build a housing complex, at the end of the day, it's the land. You want to build a hospital, it's the land. You want to do manufacturing, it's the land. Nothing can be built in the sky. You've got to start with the land. So we need to understand this, and we need to develop the right approaches towards it. And you need to understand that money is going to have to fight money. because those who are on the ground are already strategically positioned because they're on the ground. And if it means you got to get up from here, take some time off from work, kill somebody who's already dead, and go crying in the HR office and put in for 2 weeks, you got to go and bury somebody who's already dead. You got to do it and take your money and fight the process and get your property back and do whatever you need to do. And on this, Ava, let me just put this little piece in there. There's something very, very important on this land survey thing that you guys are doing, right? So one of the things you can do when you survey the person's land, let me just kind of throw this piece in there for you, since you guys, got your drone company, very good. I applaud you guys for that. When you do the survey of the 4 corners, make it 8 corners, right? So you got your 4 corners. Then put another 4 to make it 8 points. If you want to put another 4 and make it 16 points, that's fine. But what you need to do, cast the cornerstones on all 4 sides. Then what you do, get, mirrors, maybe a mirror that is maybe 24 inches by 24 inches square, and cast them in the ground. The reason why you do that is so that when the satellite passes over, it can reflect from the sun, and you can see your 4 corners every time when you go to Google Earth. Once it's updated, you will always see your land, and you will see the reflection of the sun on the mirrors that are in the ground on your 4 corners or your 8 corners or your 16 corners. And you always say, that's my land. And then one of the other things you can do is you register on Google Maps, right? And then you indicate your property there. You can write and say, okay, this, you put your thing there. It will cost you some money, but it's not going to be that much. It's Google. We're all in the US. And then you put your name on that. So anybody who brings up Google Earth or Google anywhere on map of Liberia, when they go there, they will see your pin there. They will see your pin. They will see your land, your coordinates, and everything is there. And own your deed. Have your deed. Get your deed. Own your deed. Own your property. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Okay, Elton said that he's about to relay us on Oblige.
Okay, wonderful. You see what you go on, but what you just raised is a very critical point in terms of people understanding that once you get the GPS location for your property and you can do that area survey, we are able to put it on the map for you where it's there. It will always be there. You can always reference it. And you said, there are survey markers. Sometimes they call them monuments or they call them geodetic markers or whatever. They enable you to have a reference point at all times to always be able to use that reference point for your property. So it's just important for us to understand that these things are out there. And somebody had asked, how are we enforcing all cases of land properties in Liberia today? The Liberian Land Authority has been empowered to do all of that, and then the courts of law, to be able to make those decisions. So if you have a specific old case, then you have to bring it to those authorities to see, what their decision is, or, what the resolution to that particular issue is, because a lot of people have so many different issues. And like, Glendy was saying, opposed about stay order when people want to evict people. So that kind of process can keep you going for the longest time, keep you going for a longer time. You just in the court going back. The stay order here, stay order there, no final decision. So it gets people frustrated. So we need to really do the land reform with policy that ensure that decisions are made in a very expeditious fashion, because it can slow down construction. It will affect jobs. It will affect opportunities. It will affect the economy. So we got to be able to do things that can keep our economy moving. So thank you. So the next topic is critical. That's where the real Liberianization issue comes in. That's retail and trade, right? We know they're just goods and services that people will just consume. I don't care what you do, especially when it comes to food stuff, it comes to clothing. People will consume them. And that's where it's essential for our, Liberian businesses, the small businesses, the medium businesses, to really be in this space. And government has to do what it can to build Liberian empowerment in this space. There's just so many ways to do it. Sometimes it's just direct affirmative action, taking, where you identify whether the smooth fish, whether the tinapple, whether the some other simple product that's coming in the country, identify 1, 2, 3 Liberians and say, look, this sector is for you guys. And then it doesn't stop there, because they may not have all the funding to just order all the products or anything like that. So government has to facilitate some of this stuff and make sure they hold them accountable, that they can pay for these things, and then they'll be able to get into real business and do this stuff. Entering into trade is not just simplistic. You have to facilitate as government, whether through access to credit, whether, again, we talked about business training earlier. Business we talk about training for people who are doing construction, masonry, carpentry, and stuff. But business training is critical. We need a small business agency at the Ministry of Commerce that is actually actively helping people understand entrepreneurship, understand the nuances of business, understand how to grow their business, how to build networks, how to do their business plan. All of these things are things that need to happen for retail and trade to be kind of Liberian owned.
You just brought up a very important point. One of the things that I've been trying to consider doing, hopefully next year, is do something with you, either remotely using the technology of Zoom and working with somebody on the ground, or going there myself, is to do like a 7-day or 10-day business seminar, right? Training people. One day is on building your team. The next day, business plans, how to put your business plans together. Because Liberians, we Liberians, I think one of the things we're challenged with is that we deceive ourselves, and there's nothing more dangerous than self-deception. And when somebody deceives you, you can walk away. You can say, I'm not going to deal with that person no more. You can take them out of your address book. I'm not going to be connected to them. But the worst deception is when you deceive yourself, and because you can't depart from yourself. And I think one of the things we need to understand is that we're new to entrepreneurship. We're very new to this. And if we accept the truth that we are new to this, then it means in order for us to truly compete with those who have years and decades of experience in it, it means that we need training. We must accept the fact that we need training, because how to keep proper financial records. Okay, you get a small business, how to keep proper financial records. The biggest complaint is that the banks in Liberia would give money to the Lebanese or to the Indians, but it wouldn't loan to Liberians. Okay, you can't manage your own money, but you want someone to give you money. That you can't manage your own money, but then what do you think you're going to do with somebody else's money? No, you're going to have to learn to keep records, so that when you go to the bank, you can't just go there with your financial. You got to have a business plan. Then you need to learn to be trained and taught how to write a business plan. Then you're going to have to learn how to have proper communications and how to present your plan, because you're going to have to convince the banker that based on your financials and your business plan, okay, that he can invest in something that will pay a return or pay a dividend. Then the next thing is you're going to have to identify what sector, what capabilities you're bringing, because your capabilities, your know-how, your experience, all of that can be leveraged, back to the word again that Ava used this morning, into that business plan. So I think training seminars, those are very, very important components that I think the diasporans, those who are into business development, those who are into sales, those who are into multi-level marketing, those who are into different sectors, I think those are important trades and that we need to bring to bear in our society in Liberia so that we can prepare our people, our local people there in small, medium, and large businesses so that they'll be able to compete with the other people. So, and then be able to attack these different sectors. I just wanted to add that there. You're on mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, with the audience, the specific areas that were supposed to be designated for Liberianization. And then the law changed, and only certain areas are limited. But there's still opportunities there that we haven't really exploited. And some people feel there are foreigners occupying those positions as well, right? So let me see if I can share this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
So, I don't see if I can move up. But basically, these 26 items right here, these are 26 items. They are the different areas.
Can you name them because
yes,
some people are broadcasting, they won't be able to see it. So
you're right. So the areas for Liberianization back with the 1988 amendment were 26 areas. After that, they reduced it to like 16. Okay, so we'll share the 26 first, and then we'll share the 16, and then share the 10 that are not, areas where Liberians have a monopoly of ownership and they reserve exclusively for them. So supply of sand, stone, and granite. That was an area that was just for Liberians. Block making with cement, clay, or any materials was for Liberians. Peddling, just selling on the street, whatever, that's for Liberian. All travel agencies for Liberian. Commercial printing was for Liberians. Ice making or sale of ice was for Liberian. Tire repair was for Liberians. Auto repair shops with investments of less than $50,000 were for Liberians. All cinemas were for Liberians. Shoe repair were for Liberians. Retail sale of timber and planks were for Liberians. Operation of gas stations were for Liberians. Taxi and trucking were for Liberians. So all the money people making today, trucking, like you mentioned, with the metal steel and all these other concessions, the transportation feature, their cost there is significant. People are making serious money. Even some people making like nearly $200,000-300,000 a month from their contracts with some of these companies. So a lot of money is out there, but it's about how other people are empowered to be a part of it. Second-hand or used clothing, the thing we call Doga Flat, Liberians. Distribution in Liberia of locally manufactured products. That means if we manufacture something in Liberia, no foreigners should be able to distribute. It should be only Liberians distributing. Importation and sale of used cars, Liberians. Ice cream manufacturing, Liberians. And they have conditions. Advertising agencies, Liberians. Graphic and commercial arts, Liberians. Production of poultry products, Liberians. Retail sale of rice, Liberians. Operation of water purification or bottling plant valued at less than 100,000 was supposed to be for Liberians. Entertainment centers not connected with established hotels should have been exclusively for Liberians. Retail sale of animal and poultry food for Liberians. Bakeries, Liberians. Retail sale of pharmaceutical, Liberians. So all these 26 areas were supposed to be for Liberians. Okay. Then when we came to 2010, under Madam Salif, the limited Liberian activities. So the ownership now of these businesses that were excluded for Liberian were limited to supply of sand. Note that they removed the stone and granite. They excluded that. Block making, they kept. Peddling, they kept. Travel agencies, they kept. Retail sale of rice and cement, they kept. Ice making, they kept. Tire repair shops, they kept. Auto repair shops with investment of less than 50,000, they kept. Now, instead of cinemas now, they replace it with video clubs. So Liberian exclusively can own video clubs, but they can own cinemas. Anybody can own cinema. Tire repair, shoe repair shop, retail sale, Timo, operational gas station, stay with Liberian. Operational taxis, before it was taxi and trucking. They took trucking away, so that only taxis. Importation or sale of second-hand or used clothing, distribution of, in Liberia of locally manufactured products, stay with Liberians. Then importation and sale of used cars, they restricted Liberians on this one now. Authorized dealership, which was certifying cars, could also certify used vehicles. So you see that they gave us 16 out of those 26. Okay, and these are the 10 that they took away from Liberians. The last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The SK manufacturing, the advertising agencies, the graphics and commercial art stuff, the production of poultry, retail sale of rice, operational water purification bathing plant, entertainment centers, retail sale of animal, bakeries, and retail sale of pharmaceuticals. So all of these are areas where Liberians who have been, doing business, but it's been restricted. And I don't think our government facilitates, all these businesses in a continuous process, in terms of funding, access to capital, or just helping people build business. Because, right here, these different small business development corporations that in these different states and sometimes counties, they have significant impact on the people who are doing business. They provide tremendous support to them. And if you don't have that support, sometimes as a business person, you are not effective in what you do. So, we're just hopeful that Liberianization, whoever the new minister is, and I think I posted something to that effect, whoever will be the new minister of commerce, it should be something that they should really think about to make Liberianization practical.
Yeah. Okay. So on this point, couple of things there are. A couple of things hit me out there. The key here is, right, we talk about all of this remittance money. At the end of the day, we cannot leave the economy in the way it is, even though the opportunities are there. But there will be people who will always be coming in as entrepreneurs. They're coming from the north, the south, the east, the west, airplanes, ships, whatever the case, they're coming across the borders in cars. They're coming there because we Liberians have not yet recognized, realized, and come to the understanding that our country is a magnet. Why are we a magnet? Liberia is a magnet. Why? Because we have the US dollar as legal tender. We need to understand that. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of natural resources. We got gold. We got everything there. We've got, but the attraction, the major attraction, the shining light that cuts across all of the borders, all the different parts of Liberia, of West Africa and the world, is the fact that here it is. You've got this West African country, this West African nation that has US dollar as legal tender. And we trade in US dollars every day, all across the different political subdivisions. So anyone who comes into this country goes into the rural area, and we have weak enforcement in the commercial sector, as you just mentioned. And you get involved in petty trading in Cape Mount. Who's going to stop you from shutting down your pharmacy? Look there. You got, trading of pharmaceuticals. That's a pharmacy. In so many words, that's a pharmacy. So you look at the pharmaceutical industry in Liberia. Who owns the largest number of pharmacies? Who controls that segment that keeps people well? That is a major, major segment. Again, like I said, we don't see our economy from the point where we see different verticals, different segments that hold up the entire economy. So our lack of understanding and our lack of knowledge of who we are, what we have, the value that we have, the wealth that we as a nation have, all of this, $1+ billion that comes in every year as remittance into this economy in the form of US dollars. Then what we need to do is we in the diaspora who are sending this money, we need to, let this show, let these discussions that Ava and I, we have every Saturday morning on Business Talk, let this be the motivation that will cause us to partner, to start having the discussions, the exchanges, to say, look, we cannot, if we're only going to talk about the politics and everything in Liberia, the politics are the politics are the politics. The quality of the politics is a direct result of the economy, of the quality of the economy. Don't forget, economics drives politics. It's not the other way around. No, economics drives politics. So if we who are sending in this $1+ billion every year into this economy from Maryland County to Kitma County, from the coastal counties all the way up to Grangie there, Nimba and Lofa, then we need to understand that we need, economic transformation can only take place when we who are sending that money can play an active role in that economy. That's the only way this transformation takes place. The transformation that we seek is not political transformation. It's economic transformation. We got to create jobs. We got to provide opportunities. The vocational training schools are there. The quality may be in question, but the schools are there. There's so many small Liberian businesses all across this country. All across Liberia, there's small businesses everywhere. We all have sisters, cousins, brothers, nieces, nephews, uncles, all engaged in small business. What are we doing? What are we diaspora Liberians doing to engage in business with them, to engage their business, teach them, educate them, invest in them, help them so that they can go from a petty business to a small business, and then incrementally grow? What are we doing to invest in their business education? To say, you know what, go and take an accounting course, go and take a bookkeeping course so you keep better books, better financial records. Help, how can say, I'm going to invest $250 in your business, but I need a report from you every week or what are we doing to engage? What are we doing? I mean, put that thing back up there, please, Ava. The list of those Liberianization sector of the economy. Okay. And one of the things we don't understand is the reason why these sectors are being encroached upon. I'm going to use the word encroach, are being encroached upon by expatriates coming into the country. The reason why they're being encroached upon is simply because we who are sending in the $1+ billion in remittances, we're not funding our friends, our relatives in Liberia to take advantage of the opportunities in these sectors. So let me just put on my glasses because I've put this thing up and I'm not a young man anymore. So my eyes are gone. So you look at the supply of sand and stone and granite, right? Okay. The reason why that was taken off, consider it. You're going to hire 50 or 75 guys and give them 50-pound hammers and stick them in the bush to go and break rocks all day. The expatriate guy can buy a 150 or 250 kVA generator with a crusher, import it with a conveyor system, stick it by the quarry, right? Stick it by the quarry, don't pay any taxes on it, and crush the rocks faster than you can put people in the bush to break the rocks. So again, But that same money that expatriate is putting, that investment he's making to buy the crusher, buy the conveyor, buy the generator and the fuel. We Liberians, we don't understand that we're enriching that guy. Why? Because we're the ones sending in the $1+ billion to build homes and everything else that are going to need the rocks. So we're not connecting the dots. We're not connecting the dots. And that's the challenge here. Go look at the next one. Block making and cement and clay like materials. Every home needs to use blocks. What are we engaging? Are we engaging in that? Are we doing it manually or are we doing it with electricity? We're back to that one challenging topic again. Repair of automobile, auto shops and stuff like that. That is a major segment. That is a major segment. So what are we Liberians doing to actively engage in the various sectors or verticals of our economy based on this list? The opportunities are there. We in the diaspora, we send in the most amount of money in the form of US dollars. So, it's a cause and effect. We're the ones who are causing so much money to be in the economy, 1 million, who are causing so much money to be in the economy. And as a result of that, that money is attracting people from outside. But the thing is, we're forcing our people to only be, we're only forcing our people to become consumers. We're forcing them to become consumers, or instead of empowering them to become entrepreneurs and better entrepreneurs. Go ahead, Abba.
I just want to say we have a caller on the line.
Okay, bring them in.
Caller, can you please introduce yourself and share with us some of your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you very much. Isaac. Yeah, my name is Octavius Gilman. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. By the way, for the benefit of the conversation, actually, I've been fighting you for a minute now on this issue when it comes to business, and also a private real estate developer in Liberia. So when it comes to this issue, at least I understand the discussion, and that's what I do for a living in the United States as well. And you see, sometimes when we're discussing our country and the future of Liberia, we tend to shy away from the most important part is the business. And the brother on the show and just said right that if we all come together, we don't need 10, 20 people, Isaac. We need 2 serious-minded individuals to start. In Liberian businesses, I mean, one thing I noticed about us, we don't like to join or partner. And as somebody who is doing it in the United States, I buy old houses and kind of fix it and rent it out. So the money in these type of things are not the issue. Is the contact. And when it comes to our country, the opportunity is all around you. It just Liberia's $1 billion. It's sitting on the $1 billion when it comes to real estate. But we just don't have the right people in the right place. So we intend we put our friends in this position because Isaac got a PhD or a master's degree in accounting, and we take Isaac and put him in the real estate industry or department. Not because he that degree, it means that he qualified for that position, and that's what's lacking in our country, And from before I take my leave, I will say this: I was just in Liberia for 2 days. We went to go see. I took 2 friends with me because they wanted to open a company to create fertilizer. We taking the guys then around the country. We only start. I mean, we didn't even leave Mama Point. and they said, whoa, we see a potential. And we go on the flight the next day and left. You know, so I just want to say this. We can change our country not from being part of and being senator or representative or president. We can change our country if we can come together as the business people in Liberia. Because if me and Isaac say, well, I said, let's just go invest into pepper in Nima County. We can force the government to face that role. Because if we empower the people in Nima County, they will end up choosing who is right for them for our crops to go to Monrovia. If we say, oh, let's go and do cassava in Grand Gila County, we can empower, we can force the voter now to force the senator or representative president to face that role. So business people got power, but we just don't have the mindset when it comes to that in Liberia. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Octavius, for your
Thank you, Octavius. Thank you so much for that contribution there. It seemed like you said you've been following business talk, and it seems like you're repeating our words. You know, one of the things Octavius just brought up was that we're challenged, as I said earlier, if you remember a couple of tens of minutes ago. We don't have the experience, right? We don't have the benefit of experience in terms of longevity in this entrepreneurial thing. So we don't know how to build relationships. We have friendships, right? We have friendships, but we don't have business relationships. That's what Octavius was just talking about. So you transact business not with friendships. You transact business with relationships, because relationships are like bonds. They're like bridges, okay? So that when you're driving on the road, when you look at a bridge, they tell you there, nothing more than a 5-ton truck, meaning that bridge can only carry 5 tons. Anything more, you're going to crash the bridge. So depending on the strength of that relationship, that's how much business can be carried across from one side to the other. So I think what we Liberians need to start doing, is we need to start having these entrepreneurial business discussions so that we can start building these relationships and then start forming the entities that will be business related, so that we can take advantage of individual sectors or verticals in these markets. Take in Liberia. Take for example, before you jump in, Abba, go down to where it has the what is it there? The pharmaceutical drugs. The pharmaceutical drugs, right? Let's go down to the pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Buchanan here, for example, since we're being relayed on Ablige in Buchanan. So let's go down to, let's just go down. So I'll pick on the folks from Grand Bassa County today. I think and I hope that some of them are listening. They can chime in. The amazing thing about Liberia, about we Liberians in the U.S., in the diaspora, is that every Liberian tribe or county has a diaspora organization here. Every county, there's a Maryland County organization, then there's a Gribble organization, then there's a Sapo organization, then there's a Grand Gila organization, there's a Crown organization, then you have the different high schools, alumni associations, and everything. So we're already formed in organizations. And then every organization has its own bylaws and rules and whatnot. Then they also have treasury. That means they also have savings. So the question is, what are we in the diaspora as organizations? What are we doing with this money that we've saved here? How can we bridge? How can we bridge the money, the 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 that we've saved here, that we can invest back in the county, that can bring about transformational change economically within the county, to create jobs there, and then also serve as a return on investment? So you look at the Grand Bassa Association, or the Bassa County Association, is very, very big in the U.S. I think it's called UNIBOA. Unibois is a very big organization. They have a lot of money. They've raised money. They've got a constitution. They've got a leadership team. What are you doing with regards to Grand Bassa? What are you doing in terms of investing in Grand Bassa? Are you creating jobs? Are you going to create some kind of a pharmacy? And the reason I bring this up is because we're all sitting here in America. We can go to Walmart, go to any of these, stores, Sam's, and we see all of this medication, all of this over-the-counter medication that can be resold, repackaged, and sold in our economy there to make people well and make a good return on investment. So what are we doing? You don't, again, for me, who are the business development specialist, we always go based on what we call the principle of the seed. You take one seed that sits on the tip of your finger, and I give it to you for Christmas. You can take that seed, put it in a flower pot, push it down, water it, put it outside, and it grows up and it brings forth 15, 20 pods of pepper. You eat 15, you keep 5, you open them up, each one of them got about 20 seeds in there. I come back and see you in 1 year, you carry me in the back and you show me 5 acres of pepper. Because from that one seed came that multitude. So that's the way we need to think as entrepreneurs, as business people, because we're blessed to be in the U.S. and develop one of the most advanced developed economies in the world. We're blessed to have access to all of this stuff here. But we're not making use, we're not thinking, we're not being creative so that we can use the different organizations that we're part of as an instrument to reinvest in our country to bring about the economic transformation. That's my point. That's my point. But this is a great list for those who are listening. This list, if you're watching, do a screenshot of the list. These are strategic areas to invest in Liberia. I mean, we just need to understand that we've been blessed as a people to have this nation that has the US dollar as legal tender and to be here in the US with great jobs, owning homes, having been exposed to so much technology and having so much experience, but we're not moving to the next level. The next level is entrepreneurship. The next level is entrepreneurship. And that's where you can really bring about transformational change that will ultimately affect political change. Okay, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, we had some input from some of our viewers in terms of other people that can be included in the conversation, the Liberian Chamber of Commerce, and obviously the Liberian Business Association, the Association of Liberian Businesses, and I think there's a third one out there. They also can be a part of this, and I know. I shouldn't say I know because I'm a part of it. We're also trying to, initiate a Liberian diaspora equity fund that can be used for these kind of investments to target certain things, to create business, to be able to create jobs for our people. So, some things are just not going fast enough. You want things to just hit the ground running. But yes, but another person brought up a key point. He says, when you ask a Liberian man or woman to make report, they will say, you don't trust me. And that's a very important point. We have to build a culture of accountability.
Thank you very much. There you go.
Where people don't think it's about trust. For me, I tell people all the time, I trust God. I don't trust nobody.
That's exactly right.
Humans will fail. Humans will mess up. But if you have a system where you're accountable to each other, okay, you selling. When you sell, how much you made, how many products you sold, you share that information with your partner. You're responsible for business development. Who you talk to about the business, what's the conversation like? What's the result? Are they ordering? Are they not ordering? Right? You're responsible for repairs. Oh, we got that particular machine, that machine being broken down for 1 week. What's the status? So being able to be open, transparent, and accountable to anybody you do business with is very critical. I know there's a strong desire generally among our people to scheme. That means to take something off the top, or essentially is cheating the other people who are entitled to die along with you. If we can move away from that kind of mindset, they all gotta eat something from the top, it will help business. More people will be willing to work together because they can see that confidence can be built. And then when you continue to build that confidence, eventually it becomes close to trust, where the person will not even worry about you anymore. They will just know, oh yeah, that man straight, man. The man talked to 10 customers who got 5 orders, the orders coming through. I make the order, I sell it to the customer, the money come. Oh, our finance man definitely give you a report at the end of this month. We do the money for the 5 orders. So we need that kind of flow in our business relationships and let them grow. That's the only way they can grow. If you try to scheme or screw people over, you kill the relationship, you destroy it before you even start. And in a lot of ways, we are all connected. I usually say, for me, anybody in Liberia I won't get to, the maximum amount of calls I can make that full. That 5th person, not the person. So we are small like that we can get to each other. Now, whatever that person won't talk to me now, a different story. But in terms of getting our contact information, is doable. And that's one of the blessings we have. We are small people. But also because we're small, people talk about each other more. And sometimes they talk about things they don't know. They have no idea or concept of somebody's background, somebody's other life, somebody's experience and stuff like that. And sometimes the negative talks can kill that potential engagement of that person with another person. But we just have to keep working on this as Liberians.
Yeah, you bring up a very important point there, Abba. Again, this goes back to the teaching. This goes back to the teaching. So many Liberians back home, I see my Firestone man here from Harvard Hills, William here. Hey,
oh yes, Dr. Hare. People hit on the old man.
How you doing, doctor? The great Dr. Hare? How are you? Thank you for chiming into the show. I think it goes back to educating, to teaching, to enlightening, to bringing people to a certain level. Because until until you've come to know, then you grow in understanding certain aspects of being an entrepreneur. And one of the key aspects of being an entrepreneur, right, is being accountable. Accountability as an entrepreneur, as a partner, as a business person is so vital, is so critical, is so important. So because and I don't want you first and foremost to be accountable to me. You got to learn to be accountable to yourself. If you can't trust yourself, then how do you expect me to trust you? That's the key thing. So accountability is important. The next important thing about being an entrepreneur, which is what our people need to be trained, educated, informed, and enlightened about, is that you got to be teachable. You've got to be teachable. If you're not teachable, if you're not willing to learn, to sit, to shut up, to listen, and to learn, and to ultimately grow, then you're not ready for being, ready to be an entrepreneur or a business person. Because if you knew everything, then we wouldn't be having a conversation. The mere fact that we're talking about engaging in business is simply is a confirmation that you don't know everything. So you need to learn to shut up. You need to sit, to listen, to learn, because that's where growth takes place. Growth takes place when you listen, you learn, you understand, and then you apply, and then that's when the growth takes place. You see, that's why it's important for us to, we're having these, these discussions, these teachings. It's all about bringing our people out of the darkness into the light of entrepreneurship, to take advantage of the fact that we've got all of these sectors. I mean, when you look at this list as a diaspora problem, look at cinemas. The technology has killed the cinema industry in the US. Okay? The technology of streaming has killed the multi-billion-dollar cable industry. So what do you think it's going to do for Liberia? Netflix is available in Liberia now. People are streaming Netflix. But not everybody has electricity to go and watch a movie at home or on their phone. So that creates a whole new set of opportunities. it creates a whole new set of opportunities. You've got Xboxes. Not everybody can have Xbox, but guess what? Why don't you build a space and put the chairs and charge people to come and sit down and play Xbox or Nintendo games all day? That's a whole new opportunity for business, and that's cash flow. Okay, so I think, you know, ingenuity, creativity, you know, communicating back and forth, getting involved in dialogue, and then ultimately teaching our people how to become, I mean, anybody who's in the diaspora who's listening today, let me give you $1 million. You start doing small business training in Liberia remotely with a seminar, find a hotel, do training, sell your thing with $20 or $25 every weekend. You know, it's an 8-hour class. You go there, you give them certificate, you train them, you teach them, and then you find a way to build a relationship with one of the banks and say, look, if a Liberian comes to you for a loan, send him over to our class. Send him to our class. We're teaching a 4-week class on these 10 topics, because these 10 topics are important topics that will increase the repayment of your loan, because the bankers want a loan, but the risk involved with the people who are coming for the loan is too high, because they're coming with nice business plans, but they don't even understand the business plan because somebody else wrote it for them. So that's an opportunity where you can sell that idea to EcoBank, GT Bank, GM Bank, AfriLand Bank, and everybody say, look, when they come to you for a loan, send them over to us. Here's our training program. If you like it, you believe in it, sign off on it, and then you send them over to us. And then what we will do, we will then engage and work with your people to be the ones to help to make sure that the people who graduate from the class make it a requirement. They have to come and get the certification from our class to come back, and let it be one of the requirements for them to get their loan. And then what we will do for a fee from the bank, we will then check on and help them to build their financial report every 30 days and report it to the bank. That's an opportunity. I'm just sitting here and thinking on that one. And Alva, you're the PM, you're the MBA man, other people who are listening, tell me if I'm wrong. That's a huge opportunity, because this is a big issue that the bankers are facing. The risk is too high. The losses are great. And the repayment, and I mean, what's the word? What's the word that the bankers use? The failure in terms of repayment on the debts. I mean, on the loans are just, I mean, it's just, you know, the default rate is too high.
Yes, the
default rate is too high. And why is it? If you drill it down, I can guarantee you drill it down, you'll come to find out the lack of accountability, bad business plan, and that person only got that loan because somebody in that process cut a deal to get a piece of that loan money.
Yes, the loan scenario is tough because
And it's all because the people who are coming for the loan, they're not properly trained. So that within itself is a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for Liberians who are into the financial sector.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of, you know, business education, financial literacy, and all of that. But it's also an issue of the lending system. Because I know some people who, whether they're going to borrow money from the bank for land or for business or whatever, people in the bank who have approving authority tend to ask for a percentage of that loan or something. So if I'm a business and I'm going for a project that costs $200,000, I come to you for that $200,000 loan. You tell me you want 20%. 20% is $40,000. You're taking out of that $200,000. So I'm already starting in a deficit at $140,000.
Yeah.
So how can I be successful trying to now twist that $160,000 into a $200,000 project? Sometimes it's very difficult, and we just hope some of those practices can be stopped so that Liberian businesses can be able to be profitable. You know, they don't have outside source of income, except, as we've been pleading, the diaspora can really come in and partner with those businesses. And again, the service you're talking about, you also want people that can assess any business another Liberian is going to invest into, right? Is this a viable or potentially profitable venture?
That's
Is it
exactly right. Yeah.
risky or is it really useless? So those kind of services can be made available. And we probably should try to see other financial people in a sector who can really help with that. Hopefully, after we get through with this, because we have extended our time already. Unfortunately, we started late. Again, we apologize for that. But there's one or two other business people who are into helping small businesses. I would like to call on the show, and maybe they can help us think through some of these things. So now when we discuss them, what can we do to support the business environment in the absence of a small business establishment under government that has its tentacles spread out in terms of pre-business, pre-loan, getting a loan, working with a business plan, working a strategic plan, pushing along the implementation, and then trying to make sure that person is profitable by the corrective measures they take when there's failures or like there's issues. So
I mean, Alva, you bring up a good point, but I mean, the practical way you look at it, right? Some of these guys, the Lebanese, the Indians, whatever the case is, they do things in a practical way, right? So let me give you an example. So they will they'll go to Dolostan, they look at Dolostan, they look at Smenotes, they look at Habel, they look at Cotton Walkers. There's a cluster of towns, right? And electricity is a big issue, but the market women are there, okay? But then what they will do, they will look at the fishmongers, the women who sell fish. But the challenge with them is that they need to, when they bring their fish in the market in the day, they don't sell all, they need to freeze it overnight so that it doesn't spoil. So what these guys will do, they will go and get import a 40-foot or a 20-foot container, cold storage container, and then set it somewhere strategically. And then all of a sudden that location become the cold storage location for that market. And then all of a sudden, all the market women bring their stuff there. They're making, you go back on the list here. Back on the list, you had the making of ice. Look there, I think ice blocks or something like that. You had it on that list, okay? So all of a sudden now the guy goes, he buys a 40-foot container either from Houston or from Baltimore, whatever the case is, one of the cold storage containers, okay? He buys it, he ships it, and then all of a sudden he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, all because he put the cold storage container strategically in the lower Magidi area that feeds Dolostan, Habel, Dolostan Market, Smenotes Market, RIA Market, and Cotton Tree Market. So the market women, they can bring their fish, put it on the pan, within 10 minutes it's there, it's in the market, and then at the end of the day, pack it right back and get it back over to him. And he's charging them overnight to keep it there. And then in the morning, he's making ice. So, there you go now. Now he's encroaching. We may call it encroaching. But we Liberians in the diaspora who have relatives in those same marketplaces, we're sitting here, we're not seeing that opportunity because we're apprehensive. And now that guy now is collecting all of the remittance money that we're feeding into those same communities, you see. So it's on a needs basis, right? That's what business is all about. You find a need and you meet the need, and in meeting that need, that's where you generate revenue and you become profitable. So I think, one of the greatest shows that's on TV today is called Shark Tank. Why can't we Liberians come together and do a Shark Tank? You got your money, you're a businessman here, you got 80, 90, 100,000, $200,000. Why don't you go home and put your money in the bank and then cut it up into slices and go and find small Liberian businesses and buy into them? And then become a partner to them and take the CFO position for those businesses and control the flow of the money in the business to get your money back at 50, 20%. Well, I mean, that's what Shark Tank is all about.
Wonderful. Again, these are thoughts that, we can bounce and see how we can attract people, to be able to help with some of these things and push our economy. But I think this has been a wonderful show. I definitely enjoyed the exchange. Thank you, Octavius, for jumping in.
You want to take a few calls? Take a few calls. Let's take a few calls.
We open the line. The line being open.
You need to announce it. Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody out there across the U.S.
Okay, I will get another caller right now.
Yeah.
We'll get another caller.
There you
go. Hello, caller.
Hello. Am I live?
Yeah, you're live. You have to speak a little louder, please.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Please introduce yourself and share with us what you're thinking.
I'm Titus Kadayo Williams, calling from Morocco. So my attention, thank you for the show, and thank you to the guest, Mr. Ikena. My attention is solely drawn to the part of your graph that you share that has to do with the Liberianization of supply of sand, stone, and granite.
Right.
Okay. I don't know because there are a lot of rules and laws that should be put in place by the EPA. But we have checked and verified that most of the people that are supplying sand, stone, granite for constructions in Liberia are most of these foreign companies that are mining through the rivers along the coastal areas. So I don't know what can be some regulations that you suggest to the EPA, or have been your follow-up lately that we can invite somebody from the EPA that we can have an extensive conversation on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful question.
Yeah, very good question.
If people can remember, there was a whole issue with sand mining, the black sand mining, and the speculation that there were minerals in those sand that the people were just shipping, and then all of a sudden, all of that talk disappeared. At that time, Dr. Siawe, a friend of mine, Dr. George Siawe, and I, we wrote an article. It just was never published. And I think it's something that still needs to be published. But we wrote an article on the whole sand mining thing, the environmental impact. But I think it can be refreshed to include, and we did have some recommendations for the EPA in the article. Maybe the next show we can share it. But it's just so important for us to be involved in this kind of thing, for us to bring to the attention of the EPA, what's happening here, for us to bring to the attention of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry that, look, these things are allocated exclusively for Liberians, but Liberians are not benefiting. How can we enforce this law? What needs to happen? So those are the kind of things that we also need to be advocates for, because it's very positive advocacy. It's about us trying to get our fellow Liberians to participate in our economy, which is very, very important.
Yeah, on the point he just raised, right? I see that there are two things that he talked about in my view. One is the environmental impact from the EPA perspective, right? So rules, laws, all govern, the mining of sand, where it should be done. It cannot be done here, there, whatever the case is, and stuff like that. Ocean erosion and everything else. Okay, now the next thing, the second part of it is, we're back to it again, the money. So the expats bring in the money. They can buy the dump trucks. They can buy the dredging equipment. They're funding this. It's all about, you're back to the issue of what? Capitalization. So you look at this list that's here. So the question now becomes, where is the capitalization from the Liberian perspective for the sand mining? Okay, so there's a set aside for Liberians, according to the Liberianization side, the Liberianization law, rule, what that governs the various verticals of our economy. But where's the capitalization? Meaning, where's the money to fund these different segments of the economy so that Liberians can benefit? So if you say, well, this is a set aside for Liberians, but Liberians are not yet organized and structured with a plan and a strategy to implement a plan from a strategic approach to benefit from that set aside, then what good is the set aside? What good is the set aside if which has been done, put in stone for Liberians? If we Liberians who this set aside has been put or established for, we are still sleeping, turning over from one side to the other in the dark, and we have not yet organized. But we've organized socially, but we have not yet organized financially to take advantage of what had been set aside for us in a multi-billion-dollar economy. So this is the point. It's been set aside for us, but we're not yet organized. We're organizing, as different social groups in the U.S., different, the Baja County Association, the Nima County Association, so on and so on, Race Institute, Alumni Association, blah, blah, blah. But we haven't yet organized ourselves on the aspect, or as it relates to the aspects of business and entrepreneurship, to take advantage of the different segments of our economy that can produce, a return on our investment that will bring about transformational economic change in the country that will ultimately affect our politics. We are not doing that. This is my point. It's a set aside, fine. But what are we doing with that set aside? Are we engaging it? Are we actively engaging? Are we structuring, organizing ourselves? I will end on this. There's a massive movement of African Americans in the U.S. You know it, Ava. So many African Americans in the U.S. want to actively engage, invest, migrate, immigrate, whatever way you want to call it, back to Africa. They're coming in droves. What are we doing when we have an economy like this? Because we are advantaged. Look at that list. We are advantaged. We are ahead. We have set asides that can take that we can partner with Black Americans here and say, look at the list. Look at the list. We have these items set aside just for us. Let's take over-the-counter drugs and go and create, a chain of pharmacy in every county city. Let's start with 3 or 4 pharmacies in major areas in the across Monrovia with only American drugs. Why can't we do that? What are we waiting for? Who are we waiting for? We already know there's $1 billion economy just in remittances that's coming. Why can't we use the power of the internet, right? In that pharmacy there and say, look, you don't have to send the money to your parent, to your people there. If you don't trust them, pay the money to us, send them the information and tell them to come to the pharmacy at this place or that place, and we can get it. We can get the medications over to them. The technology already exists. The capabilities are there. The people are there. We're already here. We've got the funding. We've got the capital. But we're organized socially, but we're not organized, from the entrepreneur, the business perspective to take advantage of what has already been set aside in our own country. Exactly where you're here. Thank you, Nike. Just do it. What are we waiting for? Just do it. William here, please call the line. Stop putting messages on Facebook. Pick up the phone and please call. Go ahead, Abba.
We'll bring it on one time, but let me just give a shout out to the folks at Cottington Alumni Association for them, fixing the road. This is like the Alumni Association in the Americas, the CUAA. And if you look at that image, you can see the chairman of the board of Liberian Maritime Authority in the African outfit. You can see the president of Cottington. That's Tonela Vapila, or schoolmate of mine at Cottington. And then the lady is the president of Cottington, Romel Houghton. And I think the vice president was the one who was coming to grace the event. So it just shows that remotely, diaspora institutions and organizations can do stuff in Liberia, and then not just to support their schools, but it's also about business, like you said. There's a lot of money. I don't want to say idle capital, but there's a lot of money out here that these different institutions, these different organizations can use. Every county needs a county development corporation.
Yeah.
The diaspora can be huge in building those county development, corporations, being a part.
Starting right here in the U.S. Starting right here in the U.S. Start the County Development Association right here in the U.S. because diaspora money will always be greater and it will always be more and it will move faster than the money you can raise back in the counties. That's my point.
So it seems like the vice president will soon descend, and after that we can close up, make our closing statements, or we can do that now. I think this has been a wonderful show. Congratulations again to the Partner Alumni Associations in the Americas. For such, we appreciate them. And the vice president is a graduate of Cotton. So there he goes.
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road. When a private entity can organize themselves, take advantage, pull capital, and get something done, bring about transformation. This is what it's all about.
So I think the president giving her a hug. The vice president, I'm small man.
Yeah. So I think again, I think that's the key. You brought up the county development or investment group or association, whatever way you want to call it. I think it should start in the U.S. I think that you start in the U.S. and then liaise with the various county administrations there. And then, take advantage of the Liberianization list that we put up in the different segments and sectors in the different counties, and then start building something on the ground that will bring about transformation and pulling part of that money back and doing other things within the county. That's how we do it. If we don't do it like that, the expats, the foreigners, whatever way you want to call them, would take advantage of the fact that we have the U.S. dollar as legal tender in our country. And we're pouring in over $1 billion in terms of remittances into the country. And those, that money and the use of the dollar will always be a shining light, a beacon in the dark that will attract a lot of people to our country. So we don't have any reason to complain. All we need to do, as William has said, let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's come together. Let's organize. Let's move to the next level. We've organized socially from all of the different, high school, college, university associations. Let's move to the next level of association. Let's organize financially, and let's have this power. You see my hand? The fingers are the way they are, but when you put them together, you make a fist, and it is with that fist we can really, really make an impact in our economy. Let's pull money together, pick a sector, pick a segment of the economy, make an impact. Let's just do it, and let's bring about the transformation economically that we want, transform life, and then ultimately transform politics and bring about the change in the Liberia that we all deserve. I love you guys. Thank you, Abba, for the opportunity to be on the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity and vision. This.
How about somebody said it try calling, but it went to voicemail.
We can have that. Where did you call Miata?
Miata, please call back. Miata, please call back. We got to hear from you. Heard from one guy. We got to hear from a lady.
Well, we heard from two guys.
We have from two guys. So we want another lady to call. We want two ladies to please call. Please, two ladies, please call.
Hello?
Oh, Miata, I thought you were one of those scammers. Oh, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't hear your call. I'm just teasing. I didn't hear your call. How are you doing?
Please speak louder. Please speak louder. I can't hear you.
You talking about one of those scammers, eh?
I'm just teasing you.
That is scamming business got her right here, right
now. So you call. What do you want to share with us, Madam Miata?
Yeah, I'm listening. So I'm listening to you guys. I'm getting a feedback of myself. Is there? Can you adjust?
No,
no. I think you have to mute your side. You have to mute your laptop, or if you're listening on your laptop, you have to shut down one audio.
Yeah, because then you got two feeds coming in, so you got to shut that one, just listen, or cut the audio off and just speak. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So, do you have a question, or you wanted to share some information? Okay.
Okay. One of them, I'm still getting the feedback, but I will continue to
just ignore it and continue.
Yeah, walk away. If your laptop is on, walk away from the laptop.
Make sure that I'm using my phone. I don't have a laptop, so it's not me.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
But listen, I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to think. Great show that what Liberians in the diaspora and Liberians on ground should be listening to.
Thank you.
So I was thinking your audience and who you connected to as far as having this relay on the ground. I think that's something that you need to look into.
Yeah,
but as I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking when you're talking about all of these organizations in the United States and what they should and are not doing with their money, I was chuckling while listening to you. Because I'm asking myself, what is the reasoning behind that? And when you think about it, you think about our mindset as Liberians, right? How we perceive businesses doing business and how we invest money. We are not or have not been taught how to invest money, what to do with it. We're usually fighting among ourselves over money. Systemically, this is how it's been. When you go from EULA to all of the organizations that you name, it's political. Everybody wants to act like they know when they don't know. They try to look for their position. It's all about stuff. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to take recognition for the things that they think that they do. So it kind of stifles how these organizations or we as a people look at things. The point that you guys making is excellent point. I'm on a morning show at a Grand Theater called the State Podium. And I often say exactly what you're saying to them. You have all of these organizations in the United States. But how is it benefiting their counties? And this is one reason for us to decentralize this list. And organizations ought to be going directly to their county and trying to build up their county. If they do that, then they will be able to grow the economy and shine light on their individual county. But this whole idea, systemically, is being with Monrovia. And I keep telling them Monrovia is within a county called Montserrado. That's not what you need to be. Let's come to the business aspect that you talk about. I personally, I am a member of Agriculture Liberia with Armstrong Java. We spend time trying to sell the idea that if you come together as a group, that you can do much better than if you try to do something individually.
Exactly.
We formulated a plan where there's an amount that you can use to invest. But because we know that people don't have that kind of money, we made it such that you can pay a certain portion. We advertised that stuff from January to December. I tell you, a handful of people bought into it. But when it got established and we started selling the rice, and people start saying, now, all of a sudden, people want to invest. But we were not taking any more investors. And you ask yourself the question, why is it that way? You know, why? It's the question that we have to be asking. In America,
well,
when I was in Newark, the city of Newark were auctioning some businesses. I took myself and went to the auction. One Korean man who didn't speak a word of English was there. His people sent him. He had the checks. He bought from the top of Central Avenue to the bottom of Central Avenue. I started to go after that man. All the black folks that were sitting there, nobody was making a move. I started to go after him until I guess they got tired. And when I listened, they said sold. And it was sold to me. It was 20 apartments in a building for $18,500.
Wow.
It started like 2,000 and we bid it up to 18,000, and that's what I got it for.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
But wait now, you don't be congratulating me. So I went and I said, if I get, I got the 4 engineers to go and check it out. They said to bring it up to par, it will cost 100,000. So if you take 180,000 and you got 12 people to invest, or 10 people to invest $12,000 a piece.
Yeah.
We could have purchased it easily. You take your 2, I take my 2, wherever you did. You know what the people told the people there who I was approaching? That seller there, that girl left Bobo business. You take your money, you go give it to her. When you see your money, you will know. People became skeptical. And do you know, at the end of the day, nobody came. I lost my honest money that I put down.
The deposit?
Let me tell you. I'm sorry?
You put a deposit down that was non-refundable?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, you have to put down honest money deposit for them to hold it, for you to come back. The grace period that they give you for you to come back.
Right.
To get, the building.
Yeah. All right.
2 months later, no, less than 2 months, 3 months later, guess what happened? The school board bought the entire area where the building was.
Wow.
Because they had to build a park, of football fields. And everybody that had property in that area made a lot of money.
Right.
We lost. I lost. But that's the kind of mentality that we have. So until we begin to look at the education, we begin to look at our way of thinking, the way we take the horse and put them before the cart, in the things that we do and the approaches that we take. It's difficult. We got to keep on educating. We got to keep on, motivating, stimulating. Even the ministers that you people talking about, I run these offices, they have no idea what you're talking about. And I think that's one of the biggest impediments to our not doing the things that you're talking about. I love the show. You're doing a great job. Let's find a way to sell it. Sam Jackson recently said that the bank, IB Bank, is being sold. And he put out there for people to come together, we Liberian, to raise funds to buy that building. How many people think about that idea or want to buy into the idea? You're the business people, me, and I'm business people, and I just take my risk and take my chance.
No, your
but
point is
something like that, we need to look at, because the point that he made with the bank, which we don't own a bank, is important. So that my little 2 cents I want to add to it, but congratulations.
Thank you, Mia. We really appreciate
Let's
your
find
input.
a way to promote it.
Yes. So we try to invite Sam next week when we're talking about banking, because that's the next two topics. We include banking to finish out the 10. So we, include Sam and other people. But thank you for calling. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the other callers.
Yeah. Mom Yata, thank you so much for calling. But one of the things as a business person we have to understand, as I said earlier, entrepreneurs are people who, we're strange creatures. That's one thing you have to understand. We are very, very unique creatures. We're very strange creatures. And why is that so? It's because we have the ability, we've been gifted, we've been blessed to see things that other people cannot see. We hear things that other people cannot hear. That's why we are not, we cannot move with the multitude. We cannot be with the crowd. We're always a set aside. And when you understand that, that's why the greatest challenge as an entrepreneur, as a business person, is that you need to recognize that the things that you see, you can't tell everybody. Because when you tell everybody, they will make a fool or a joke out of it. And then you will become depressed and you will become isolated. The challenge of being an entrepreneur is that you have to seek out other entrepreneurs, because that's where the commonality is. That's where, you guys, we entrepreneurs, you see, if you were talking about, if you have found 5 or 10 other entrepreneurs who are able to do this, who could think the same way, they will quickly jump on that opportunity, because, all of them hear things, all of them see things, and all of you guys can now see things the same way. In that very same Newark, there's a young Liberian lady there. She owns, I think she bought an old hospital building, she and some partners. I think she owns some IHOPs, okay? And I mean, she came from Ghana. She's a millionaire today in that very same Newark. So I know Central Avenue.
No, she has Liberian blood. Dina Bayou, you talking about?
Yes, yeah. I said she's a Liberian. I said she's a Liberian. I think she's I think Catherine Veskin, the late Catherine Veskina's niece, I believe she is. Yes,
but you're supposed to know her dad.
Yep, but I probably I was in Newark. When I
used to hang out in New York, he has like a Sierra Leonean accent too, but he used to be with us all the time in Newark there. His name was Kingsley Bayou.
Kingsley Bayou, yes. Newton, yes. So I mean,
I think he's still there. I think he's still in the area.
This is the challenge. And is being an entrepreneur is not a bad thing. What makes a entrepreneur a very challenging thing is when you don't recognize who you are. We are unique people. We see things, we hear things, we understand things at a higher level. I will end with this. We Liberians, we engage in entrepreneur and crowdfunding in a very unique way. It's called Susu Club, right? Susu Club. I mean, there are thousands of Liberian Susu Club from New York to California across this country. But guess what? It doesn't move to the next level. They raise the money every 2 weeks or every month. One person eats their money. Next month, another person eats their money. Next person eats their money. But it never moves to the next level. Okay, but Miata, thank you for calling in, and that's my closing on that. Great point, Miata. Great point. Thank you for calling in. We'll be back here next Saturday again.
Yes,
go ahead, Alva. You can do your closing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank our callers for calling. Octavius Gilmore, Titus, Kaderic Williams, and then Miata, Stella Herring. We really appreciate you guys for calling. Next week, we got banking and financial services and technology, which would be the 2 topics we'll be discussing. So we really look forward to those 2 topics. Maybe like Miata suggested, we can invite Sam to talk about his banking idea. And there are a couple of other Liberians who have talked to me about starting a bank. I know a fintech company that is interested in starting a bank in Liberia. So hopefully more Liberians can get into that sector. but we have a lot of opportunities, folks. So we shouldn't be down. We should try to see how we can build a critical mass around these ideas, get more support from more Liberians and be able to do it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. We look forward to next week. God bless.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Thank you, Abba.